Welcome back to another one. Settling the debate once and for all on who makes the bacon in this house. At the end of the video, you guys let me know on who you think makes the bacon. If you go back to the first video we made, there is no juices or water or blood or whatever you want to call it, seasoning and moisture basically, but there is none. Now we got, it's a good 1/4 inch deep through the tub, because that curing salt, the nitrate salt, is actually drying this pork belly down, which is what we wanted, helping cure it. So now that we're done with the curing portion, like this bacon could be ready to go. You can after you're done curing it, you can just rinse it off and slice it and cook it, and then you're good. We are going to add the additional step of smoking it, and we're going to cold smoke it. We're just after the smoke flavor. We're not actually cooking it. We're not actually going to cure it by smoking it. So I'm going to get set up by the sink here and just rinse these off. Get a good rinse down. Get all that seasoning and salts and stuff off the outside, and then pat dry them. And then we're going to leave them and set them in the oven rack and just let them come to room temperature for about an hour. Alright, so I've got the sink set up here the best I can. We're just going to turn the water on here and just rinse this. If you can see, I don't know if the camera picks it up very well. It's in that fat. You can see the fat's kind of got a tannish color. Rinse that off, and it rinses that seasoning right off. And the salts. You just want to rinse that stuff off there. That flavoring and the seasonings and the nitrate salt or the curing salt has done its job now. It's worked its way into the meat and has cured that meat, help preserve it basically. But it's cured it and flavored it, so we don't need all that stuff on there anymore. It's the seasoning or the flavor is in the meat now, where we want it to be. So we're just rinsing that off just to get all that stuff off there. Another way to tell that these pork bellies have been cured or are actually pretty good through the curing process is they're stiff. They're not like hard, not movable, not pliable, but if you remember, if you go back to that first video, or maybe if I still have a clip around, I'll put one in here. But that pork belly is just like a rag or a towel. It just folds right around your hand and just holds straight up and down. And like this actually it's firm now or stiff, so it doesn't want to bend all the way, which is what we want. This is just a good way to tell that you are good through your curing process. If it wasn't quite there, you could cure it longer. This package or this stuff we use was like minimum of 6 days or 7 days, and we're sitting on like day 10 or 11, just based on time wise. I said it doesn't hurt to go longer. You're just gonna put more flavor in it is all, which is okay. It's not gonna hurt the meat by curing too long. All right, so now we got them all rinsed off, so we're just gonna pat dry them. Just kind of dry them off, get the excess water, moisture off of it, and then we're gonna put it on the rack to let it dry and come to room temperature. And so we're just patting it. You don't have to rub it or scrape it or nothing, just getting some of the excess moisture off. And when we put this in the oven, we're not cooking it, we're just gonna put it in there and just leave the oven off just to bring it to room temperature and dry. When it dries, it'll kind of get sticky or tacky, and I'll have to look up what they call it. There's a name for it. But it becomes a kind of sticky or tacky, and you want that because that's what's going to help your smoke flavor work its way into the meat. Yeah, so I just have them set on the racks. I got the lid from the tub there sitting on the bottom, just so if any drippings drip off of that, it's going to drip onto there and not in the bottom of the stove. When we get done, I'll have to wash these racks, but that ain't that hard, that big a deal. But so just leave them in here for about hour, hour and a half, anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. You want to let them come to room temperature and then kind of dry out a little bit, or dry off a little bit. And then next step, we'll be putting it in the smoker. All right, just getting the smoker set up to be able to put the pork bellies in here, smoke them. We got a cold smoker add-on box to the Masterbuilt smoker, electric smoker here. Normally you just put your wood chips in here and the heating element's inside of here. It heats up and heats this chamber up. And we don't want to do that. We don't really want to cook it. We're just here to smoke it. So we just want the smoke flavor. So I got this add-on cold smoke box. It's got this little unit here that goes down inside of there. We got it filled with wood pellets, and then that whole thing just sets down inside of there, and there's a heating element down in the bottom of that to smoke, and then it'll put it into the chamber there on the side through the normal fill box. This has just got a screen on the bottom, like a grate on there to hold everything in there, but and let it feed itself down. We've learned in the past that this thing does not use wood chips very well. We have had bad experiences or bad luck with the wood chips. The wood chips get hung up in there, they kind of get locked in together and they don't fall down. So it'll smoke for a little bit and you come out and check it an hour and a half, 2 hours later, and it's not smoking. There's no smoke coming out of it because all the wood chips are hung up too high and they're not smoldering down or falling down to burn on that to make that cause that smoke. So we've figured that out. So now we use wood pellets. This one we're doing a Bold Barbecue, rich and bold smoky flavor. They're just premium hardwood pellets instead of being maple or hickory or anything like that. We figured we'd try this one out. I actually want to do maple, but couldn't find any maple pellets. Off season, I suppose, but I was seeing these and I thought maybe it'll be pretty good, so we'll try it out, see how it does. Plug in the smoke box here and let these smoke for about 2 hours. And hopefully the camera picks up that it's still kind of white. This one's got a little bit of coloring to it where it sat on the oven rack. The oven rack was clean, so it wasn't like it got flavoring or seasoning off of that or nothing, but where it sat on that and kind of got a darker color to it, but still white though. So when we smoke this will get a good rich smoke coloring to it. So I'll get it plugged in and I will show you the end result here in about 2 hours. All right, we're at the 2 hour mark. I don't know if the camera picks that up too well, but smoke coming out of there. Good heavy smoke. Seeping out the doors just a little bit. The door seal's not perfect, but and coming out the box a little bit there, but we're gonna open it up and check it out. I don't think the camera does it justice, but got a nice, good, dark, rich smoke coloring there. This one's not as much because I think the way it rolls off the end of this here, comes up and around and hits that, runs probably right up that side. But we do got some good coloring in this one too. It just doesn't look as good as this one does. Check both sides though, look and make sure you got some good coloring. Alright, so we brought it inside. I just put it in the fridge for a while just to wait until I had time to get in here to cut it up. This is the not trimmed one. I cut this one down already and trimmed it up when we ground our sausage. So now I'm just gonna clean this up, trim it up, and then we're gonna use like these pieces for like baked beans or pork and bean soup, or bacon bits for our baked potato soup. Same thing with all this. I'm just gonna trim this up a little bit. All right, I got them all trimmed up here and ready for the freezer. They're just slabbed out. Just got slabs out of them. And I got the chunks here that I trimmed off. And like I said, these are all cured, just good bacon. We are, I'll cut some of these up and we will probably just vacuum seal these and put them in the freezer for, like I said, for baked potato soup, pork and beans, different stuff like that. And just still have to cook them later on, but makes it a lot easier just to get some of this out as opposed to getting out a whole thing of bacon and or having to have a leftover bacon, because there's no such thing as leftover bacon, at least in my house. So I just cut these into smaller chunks here, and we will, so if we make any of those things, we like the baked potato soup, we'll get a pan out and fry these up, get this all fried up for and ready for that. All right, so now it's time to get ready to slice in here. I got one pork belly here that I cut ready to get ready to slice. All I'm going to do is cut this in half just to make it easier to work with on the slicer. And the first problem you're going to have if you're doing this yourself is on which way to slice it. After a couple times of doing this, I figured out which way I need to slice it, but it's always a kind of a guessing game at first. I know I had problems the first time. I thought I was slicing the right way and sliced it, and turned out I was wrong. So this would be the wrong way to slice bacon. This would be, I'd say it looks like more like bacon strips instead of bacon strips. Looks like the dog treat of bacon strips. It's kind of got the elongated meat in there, and it kind of runs all the way through it. And if you can see, it's just solid. It's all solid meat. As now, the first strips here, it's broken up in the fat. It's not all the way through it. This meat is more marbleized and not just solid chunk like it is on every other piece. Like this, both of those strips are solid. There's no marbling through it. You see the way the grain goes. The grain's going the wrong direction, so this will be kind of harder to chew because they're going to be the grain's running this way instead of across. So the first time I made bacon, definitely learned the hard way that I was cutting it the wrong way because it looked really good. Then I had to cut some off the other direction and realized, oh wait, that's the way I should have been slicing all that the whole time. If you see the end of the slab here, this is those pieces I just trimmed off so it fit in the grind or the slicer better. And you see how that looks, but now if I turn it this way, and it looks way more like bacon. I said so. It's a kind of a learning curve because you look at it and you think, oh yeah, that looks good. That looks like it's supposed to, and then slice it the other direction and find out, oh wait, that's the way I should have been slicing it the whole time. And so it's just something you get used to and kind of figure it out as you're going along. So thought I'd show you guys that part too. I got it preset for the width we want or the thickness we want, and just slice it here. I put these in the freezer. Took a little bit longer than I wanted it to get them firm, but they're not frozen, they're just firm. Makes it easier to slice. slicer just makes them, I don't know why the camera's gonna pick it up, but nice even strips through them. This is we're slicing a little thinner than what we normally do this time. We tend to like really crispy bacon, and of course, like every American household anymore, we're in a hurry to get things made, trying to make dinner faster. Got too much stuff going on at one time, so it cooks a little faster and gets crispier being a little thinner. And we just cook them in the oven, bake them that way. Man, oh man, does that not look good. And then it's just ready to go. We're ready to package this up now and cook it. We had some for dinner tonight. It was good. I really like this stuff. Actually, I'd say it's probably one of the better ones of bacon that we made. And we never made bad bacon. I mean, there's no such thing, but this was really good bacon. So I was kind of a little nervous about using the backwoods seasoning like this that we used this time, but it turned out really good. And definitely recommend just the hardwood pellets as opposed to like hickory or maple. I like this stuff a lot better. It's got a really good flavor to it. So even being fresh, it tends to be a little smokier the first time you, like if you were cooking it fresh, as we got done smoking it, pull it out, let it rest for half hour or something and fry it up, it'll be kind of a smoky, really smoky flavoring. The longer you let it set, the less smoky it'll be. Kind of let that smoke set in. This sat in the fridge for about 2 hours, I think, before we sliced them off to make for dinner. But yeah, it was good. Now that we're all done, I think we can determine that I make the bacon in the house. But as most married men, just because we make the bacon doesn't mean we rule the roost. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one.